This is Jerry McNamara, and you're listening to the Pulse of the Orange, ESPN Radio 97.7 and 100.1.
This is the Aflac Insurance Syracuse Legend Show, talking to the biggest names in SU sports history, broadcasting in the ESPN studios, and presented by SummitCars.com. Here's your host, Mike Bristol.
All right, back on the program. Thanks for joining us. It was great to catch up with the talented freshman Benny Williams, 6'9", out of Maryland. And could bring a lot here to the Syracuse University basketball team. In fact, we've talked to the starting five here the last, 5 or 6 weeks. Buddy Boeheim, Jimmy, talked to Joe, talked to Cole. So catching up with a little bit of everybody here on the basketball team. And now we've got Melissa Vassalotti on the program. Let's get her on the program. Melissa, how are you?
Hi, Mike. I'm good. How are you?
Is it Vassalotti? Did I say it right?
It's Vassalotti-Twist, actually. We got the maiden name and the married name both in there.
Vassalotti-Twist. You know what? That sounds kind of cool. Melissa Vassalotti-Twist. I like that combo.
I know. It's a mouthful.
AstroTurf. Let's get right to it. I guess how long have you been with AstroTurf and specifically with its field hockey division?
Yeah, I've been with AstroTurf for coming up on 3 years now. So it's been wonderful being with them. AstroTurf they're just a great company to work with.
When did, the whole, listen, every school now seems to have turf or AstroTurf, whatever it might be. When did this become so big in high schools? 10 years ago, 5 years ago, but it seems like everybody now is doing this.
Yeah, you know what? Turf is just big, especially in the field hockey world. I would say, really the last 10 years, you're just seeing everyone that wants to compete has to have a turf field, has to have an AstroTurf field, and it just seems to be getting bigger and bigger. The industry, as sports grow, more people need fields and more people need AstroTurf.
Yeah. To all who might be unfamiliar with it, actually I shouldn't say it. I'm going to talk about this for a second. Let's talk about AstroTurf in terms of the sport that you played. And was it the best thing for the sport? Skills, no bad bounces here deciding games. Talk about how it added to field hockey.
Well, yeah. Turf really changed the game for the sport of field hockey. Back in the day, the sport of field hockey was played on natural grass. And with natural grass, every field is different, and you weren't getting the consistency that you need for field hockey. So bringing synthetic turf into the field hockey world completely changed the game. It changed the fluidity of the game, the speed of the game. It's just completely revolutionized it. Now when you have an AstroTurf field, you're getting the consistency of your turf field. You're getting the firmness underfoot, and really, it's just the speed of the game has completely changed when you go from natural grass to synthetic turf.
Melissa Vassalotti-Twist here on the program. On the women's side, I know Olympics around 1980, field hockey was added. Holland won 3 of the last 4 gold medals. Talk about how they win and how good that team is and how they win each time.
Yeah, actually, AstroTurf back for the Montreal Olympics in 1976 was the first time that field hockey was in the Olympics, and that was an AstroTurf surface there. And so we've seen the Olympics is huge for field hockey, and our U.S. national team is constantly striving to get better and make it into the Olympics. I know they're working hard now, training for the Paris 2024 Olympics to make sure that they're present in those Olympic Games. I've looked at a lot of your guys' work and been able to see the fields and toss a football in the fields or kick the soccer ball or things like that. It's unbelievable. Talk a little bit about the installation, what makes a good surface, and why the AstroTurf is so important. Yeah, the installing a field hockey field is completely different than, installing a football field or a soccer turf field. The experience and knowledge required to install a hockey-specific turf is totally different. The tolerances that are required for a field hockey field are extremely tight. It's 1/8 of an inch over a 10-foot radius, which is really hard for a lot of people to be able to meet those tolerances. So AstroTurf has that experience for 50-plus years of building hockey-specific fields. With that experience, we're able to get the consistency of the ball roll, the consistency of the field, the firmness of the underfoot for the field hockey surface. And really all those attributes come together to create an elite-level hockey surface. So when an athlete's they're running out on their AstroTurf field, they know exactly the type of footing and the speed of the ball that they're going to get on our surface.
You know what I thought was interesting, too, is reading some of your information, even though it's an artificial surface, the field gets watered before games. Why is that done?
Yeah, and we always get asked that question, why are we watering a synthetic turf? When you're throwing water on, and you're going to hear my Philly accent coming out with the water, when you're watering a field hockey field, it is enhancing the speed of the ball. And if you've ever seen a hockey game, it's fast and fluid. And so the faster that field is, the better it is for the athletes, the better it is for the fans to watch a fast game. In addition, when you throw water onto a field, you're reducing the ball bounce. The last thing hockey players want is a bouncy field. So for us, putting water in the field reduces that ball bounce and is going to play a little bit truer for hockey players. What's
the latest innovation here for playing surfaces that we'll be hearing about in the years to come with your company?
Yeah, so while AstroTurf has the history of having these elite hockey surfaces, we also have the history of creating multi-sport facilities, so multi-use fields that you can play football on, you can play soccer, you can play lacrosse on. And so having our experience on both sides, on the hockey side and the multi-use side, we've now created a system that is it's still a multi-purpose field, so it's going to be, sand and rubber or an alternative infill field. But what we've added now is our products that will cater to field hockey. So they're going to be high density but low pile height. So that low pile height is going to allow the field hockey ball to sit on top of the fibers and, again, get that fast ball roll that hockey players are looking for.
So understand this, right? The multi-surface fields are able to handle any sport. They'll be able to be utilized in that field.
That's exactly right. We're trying to expand field hockey and make it more accessible. So recognizing that not everyone can have that water-based turf, that we need to make sure that we're allowing the sport to be accessible at the youth level and, even at the Division II, Division III level that may have a infield system, but still get them an elite level hockey surface.
Oh, see, that's great. So literally anywhere, any high school, all the way up through any Division I, II, or III facility can have these multi-surface AstroTurf fields that you guys install that any sport can be played on them.
You got it.
Oh, that's great. I mean, and look at the facilities. Then you go out and you check these facilities out, and you see the tracks. You guys obviously do work on tracks and things like that as well. You see the field work, the multi-surface field work that you do, and then you see the whole overall stadium walking into it. These facilities are all unbelievably professional and just are beautiful places to go and play for these kids, whether it's, like I said, through the high schools and junior highs and whomever, to enjoy them all the way up through the most competitive Division I and professional levels. It's just truly incredible. So you guys do an unbelievable job. How can people reach you and how can people check out your products?
Sure. People can reach us on astroturf.com, so www.astroturf.com. And you'll be able to find all of our contact information. Reach out to Melissa Vassalotti-Twist. All my contact information will be on the AstroTurf website.
I love it. Unbelievable job. I love the name. I love the combo. I love everything you're doing. Thanks so much, Melissa, for being on the program.
Excellent. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Have a good one. Terrific job. And what an awesome facility. I've seen a bunch that they've done, and they just do a terrific job. ESPN Radio 97.7, 100.1. We'll see you next week. 0.1.